since 2000 to 2012 seasons. Winner clinching the 8th seed in the East and playing the 1 seed Pistons in the first round. Mid-first, Paolo Banchero drives over the shoulder to Wendell Carter Jr. Drains the corner trade, part of a 13-0 Magic run. One of Banchero's 6 assists on the night. Now late first we go. Banchero. This time, instead of the helper, does it himself, takes it to the rack for the bucket and one. Magic up 22 after one. Now late second, tensions rising for the Hornets, down 26. Miles Bridges with the ball. Desmond Bane forcing the turnover. Bridges, though, called for a foul on Bane. Bridges put his fist across Bane's face to get up off the floor. He was assessed a dead ball technical foul. All right, let's get things in order, fellas. Minute later. In transition, Franz Wagner lobs it up to Jalen Suggs. He throws it down. Magic up 31 at the break. That's the largest halftime lead in a postseason game in franchise history for Orlando. Early third now. Pass to Banchero. Into the paint for the one-handed jam. Banchero finished with 25 points as the Magic dominate this one 121-90, making the playoffs in 3 straight years for the first time since the 2007 through 2012 season. Well, here's what lies ahead now. The Magic will assume the 8th seed and will face the top-seeded Pistons in the first round. First round action getting set Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We are now joined by CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, I'm going to be honest with you. I hate being wrong. I'm going to be honest. I hate being wrong about things. But you know what kind of softens the blow? It's when you're not the only one that happens to be in the wrong, because we both were on the Hornets in this game when we talked pregame. The Magic, I'm going to be honest, they probably turned on CBS Sports HQ in the locker room, heard our conversation, because they ended up putting on a clinic against Charlotte to just punch their ticket to the playoffs, where I mean, when you think about what we expected and what we saw from this Orlando team, where has this version been all season? Give me your takeaways from just the defensive clinic they put on.
Yeah, that's what everybody was saying, right? Like, we've been waiting for this Orlando Magic team to appear all season long. And you and I weren't the only ones who were wrong about this. Pretty much everybody was on the Hornets tonight because the Hornets had been playing good basketball. They were 3-1 against the Magic this season. And the Magic looked like they were ready to call it quits. They looked terrible in the game before against the Sixers. And they haven't looked like the version of the Orlando Magic that we've all anticipated and all wanted to see this season. At the beginning of the year, Kiana, I had them finishing 3rd in the Eastern Conference. So much for that, right? I mean, they just couldn't get going. Their defense didn't look the same as it did before. Well, tonight was the Orlando Magic team that was promised. They jumped all over the Hornets right from the opening tip and delivered the biggest loss in play-in history. The Hornets couldn't get anything going. That's because the Magic defense finally looked like the Magic defense, especially on the perimeter, where that was their calling card last year when they were 2nd in defensive rating. This year, just 13th in defensive rating. But tonight, they hold the Hornets, who are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA this season, to just 27% from deep. They only made 12 of 45. And when that shot isn't falling for them from deep, the Hornets are lost. And the Magic not only played great defense, but they were excellent on offense. They dominated it in the paint. They had the Hornets throwing the ball all over the gym, just a ton of turnovers. Paolo Banchero, by the way, somebody who I have crushed. I crushed him, I think, earlier today with you. He was excellent tonight. So kudos to him, kudos to the entire team. And now they're moving on to play the Pistons.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah, you did. You did kind of crush him pregame, but you said that this is a game that if the Magic had a chance, they were going to have to rely on Desmond Bane. He was going to have a big offensive night. But meanwhile, like you mentioned, Paolo Banchero coming through in the clutch. Meanwhile, I feel like a number of players for the Magic stepping up in this one. I mean, but maybe better late than never is maybe an answer for that. But how about Charlotte? Because they did just survive a 1-point overtime game against Miami just 2 nights ago. That's a game that had 16 lead changes, 17 ties. In your eyes, did the Hornets look like a team that maybe emptied the tank just to get to this moment, or they're still not quite built for this kind of pressure? Or was this just more about Orlando's defensive pressure?
I mean, for sure, credit to Orlando for playing that well, right? Because, you know, you have LaMelo Ball out there, and I've been crushing him too, and I'm still going to continue to crush him because he's out there just jacking up shots that he has no business jacking up. But you've got a guy like Desmond Bane, who I thought he was going to need to have a big offensive night. He didn't really. He only scored 14 points tonight. But what he did do was play defense from the opening tip to the last second that they took him out. Had 3 steals, locked up to LaMelo. LaMelo's out there trying to, I don't know, put together a dribbling highlight reel. And Desmond Bane was picking his pocket clean. So yes, for sure it's about the Magic playing great defense. But then from the Hornets perspective, I think you're right. They only get the 1 point win in overtime against the Heat, right? And they came out of that feeling themselves. And I think they were maybe a little high on their own supply here. They had a great season, no doubt about it. Definitely exceeded expectations. Super fun team to watch, very entertaining. They've got some really nice young pieces. But this is a situation where they haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. If you want to make the playoffs, you got to win gritty and tough sometimes. And tonight, the Magic decided we're going to be physical. We're going to be the adults. We've gone to the playoffs several years in a row. You haven't. You have to come through us in our gym. And the Hornets were wholly unprepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like the Magic had won this game within the first 5 minutes, how they ran away with this one. But up next for them, though, it's a quick turnaround for a date with the top-seeded Pistons. The Magic were able to take 2 of the 4 against them earlier in this season. I want to get your early scouting report for this first-round showdown.
This could be a rock fight, right? I mean, like, people who'll say, oh, the basketball in the NBA was better in the 90s, late 90s, when it was all about defense and toughness and grittiness and all that stuff. Well, I hope you enjoy this series because that's what you're looking at right now. And these two teams are very, very similar in that, the Pistons, I think the Magic are sort of like the worst version of the Pistons. The Pistons are the #1 seed for a reason. They do a lot of things well. They're even a top 10 offense, even though they don't get credit for that. But they're the #2 defense in the NBA behind only Oklahoma City. And they've got a lot of big bodies and they win in the paint. Well, what do the Magic do? Same thing. A lot of big bodies. They play good defense and they win in the paint. The difference is that Pistons are second in defensive rating. The Magic are 13th. The Pistons are #1 in points in the paint. The Magic are 13th. Neither of these teams shoot very well. The Pistons, though, are 17th in three-point percentage. The Magic are 27th. So all the things that the Pistons do well, the Magic do, they just do it a little bit worse. So I think you're going to see 2 very similar styles in this series. It's going to be a lot of defense, a lot of physicality, and probably not much offense.
I do have to slide a quick one in for you because I think we were kind of expecting maybe the Magic were going to kind of clean house if this game didn't quite go the way that they anticipated. But let's say they do win a series. I mean, do we still see major changes or, it's kind of expected?
They're not winning this series.
Okay,
There's
all
no
right.
chance. I mean,
I just had to ask.
The Pistons, we got to put some respect on the Detroit Pistons. They've been the top of the Eastern Conference all season long. They're not going to lose to a worse version of themselves. And by the way, congrats to the Magic on getting out of the play-in, right? That's fantastic. Good for you. But I don't think this materially changes much for them when we're talking about changes in the offseason. I mean, you got out of the play-in, you get past the Hornets. Okay, what happens in this round? Like, if they win a game or 2, does that really change anything for the Orlando Magic when they go, well, our personnel didn't work all season long. We're just going to keep it around because we won a game or 2 against the Pistons. And Jamal Mosley, we haven't done anything in the postseason, even though we've reached in 4 straight seasons now. I think time's probably up on this iteration. They're still going to tinker.
All right. I mean, it was worth the ask. I was, hoping for the best. But nonetheless, as always, John, we appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see how things play out, at least for the Magic side of things. But regardless of how this first round plays out, history is coming with it. Either Detroit or Orlando, it's a possibility. Well, they will win their first playoff series in more than 15 years. The Magic, they haven't done it since 2010. As for the Pistons, 2008. So one drought, it's going to end here. As for the West, the final spot in the postseason up for grabs between the Suns and the Warriors.